European Science Foundation. We are researchers ourselves in our own disciplines. We do research on a daily basis, so we totally understand you. We are exactly as you. We are not clerks from ESF. But our role here is actually to help you to participate and to work out some follow-up and also give a short opinion to our committees, which is a formality mostly. So here we would like to start with a general introduction. What is European Science Foundation? How many measures, how many research tools exist, and where exploratory workshops belong to them? And then just a few words on our committees. But we don't want to now discuss the follow-up. It will be on the last session of this workshop. So European Science Foundation was actually founded in 1974, and it consists of 78 member organizations, and these organizations are either funding organizations or organizations which just perform scientific research, lots of kind of academies, research councils, and so on. And they are now in 30 countries. The mission of the European Science Foundation is actually to give a platform and also financing to advance European research and to explore new directions, so kind of forward-looking approach to research, to give some directions, guidelines, and support those which ESF thinks are important and have strategic future. So ESF is consisting of standing committees. As I said, we represent 3 of them, but in total there are 5. So humanities, life, earth and environmental sciences, medical sciences, physical and engineering sciences, and social sciences. Apart from that, there are also some kind of expert boards, which are actually called when the necessity comes. So if the new research fields come to the picture, the new expert boards are funded, and they are nowadays marine sciences, material science and engineering, nuclear physics, polar sciences, radio, astronomy, space sciences. So as you see, it's quite a broad range. The budget in 2010 was 61 million euro, but it's divided in kind of 2 sections. Around 13%, so 7.8 million euro, goes to the offices, to members of staff of European Science Foundation and core activities. But most of the funding, 53 million, comes from member organizations, and they go to those measures which member organizations think they are important. They also come from national institutions. So there is co-financing of ESF activities, and also from European Commission and so on. Actually, these activities can be divided in 3 broad categories. Oh, it doesn't look too good.
No, just because for me it was the same. Some of them are
okay. Okay, so maybe I will read them. So first broad category is something called like tools which support science strategy. And they are so-called programs Forward Looks, Science Policy Briefings, Exploratory Workshops. So as you see, you belong to this science strategy part of activities. And the second block is Science Synergy. So all kind of programs which would be networking, which would be combining researchers from different fields to work out new ideas and so on. And these programs are Eurocourse research programs, research networking programs, research conferences. And the third part is so-called science management. This is producing peer review reports, coordination of EuroHorcs projects. I will tell you about EuroHorcs a bit later because it's an important part now. Coordination of European Commission projects and implementing some projects for technology. This is called COST. And then something called member organization fora, which is general activity. And now, and I will tell about all of those a few words to give you impression what is the difference actually between them. But generally, as you see, the programs differ in terms of financing, in terms of how many researchers are involved, and so on. So exploratory workshops are the smallest units, scientific measures, while Eurocourse programs and research networking programs are the ones which really gather the most of funding, and this is usually the wish of exploratory workshops to develop eventually into research network programs or Eurocourse. So forward looks. These are actually the projects which main outcome are reports and action plans on strategic scientific issues which have importance in medium and long term. So it's not current policy issues, it's more like scientifically, strategically important issues in longer term. They are multidisciplinary, they have to be relevant for whole Europe, and they should connect scientists with policymakers. It's important part that there is an interaction between researchers and policymakers. So there is a platform of actually making them understand each other somewhere. And this also involves consultations with stakeholders. So it's in essence combining those three: researchers, policymakers, and stakeholders. The second type of policy instrument is so-called science policy briefings. These are actually, they are oriented on working out strategies and short notes for policymakers, but these topics are not defined by scientists. These are, they are defined by member organizations. So funders actually say which topic they would like that researchers would communicate. So if they think that there is an ongoing important policy debate and European Science Foundation should take a strong stand in this policy, this kind of policy briefing is quickly developed, and it's also, of course, on top-level European researchers are involved, but the topic doesn't come from science, the topic comes from member organizations. But the outcome is a policy brief, which is then advertised, and it's kind of a bit a lobbying instrument. Exploratory workshops, you know the best because we are having now. This is one-off event, as here, lasts a few days, from 1 to 3 days usually, and this is aiming to bring researchers together and to work out some strategic activities later on. And this is, as I said, quite small instrument, 15,000 euro. ESF member organization fora. This is again the funders, the members of European Science Foundation want to have the tool for themselves, which is actually meetings which the outcome of these meetings would be working out good practices for research, like for example good practices for peer reviews or good practices for selecting projects and so on, joint activities, common procedures, so kind of standardizing some things in research, and this typically lasts for 2 years. And the examples of recent outcomes are European Code of Conduct for Research Integrity, European Peer Review Guide, Research Careers in Euro Landscape, and Horizons. So as you see, there are concrete outcomes which then are communicated wider to the scientific community. Eurocourse, this is the biggest in terms of money and researchers program. It's European Collaborative Research Program. It gathers researchers from many countries, but the important thing is that it's co-financed nationally. So actually European Scientific Foundation only provides funding for coordination and also lobbies at the national funding institutions to make this project run. And then it altogether is up to 10 million euro over 3 years. And unfortunately, now it's not available because of some reform going on, which I will mention in a minute in the later slide. European collaborative research projects in social sciences is a bit like Eurocourse, but again, it will not be launched in this year, and future is uncertain, which I will explain you about the reform a bit later. Research networking programs, these are programs which are establishing new networks, new forums, and include workshops, conferences, exchanging visits, summer schools, disseminations, and so on. And they are funded by 4 or 5 years, but the idea is that they, of course, have their own life after this funding, and some new networks and societies will develop further. The funding is quite significant, even 130,000 euro per year. Research conferences, this is bigger than workshops, usually last 5 days, and gathers about 100 researchers together, and they cover topics proposed by scientific community. So it again serves a bit of the funders themselves, in the sense that the topics are upfront established. And this also has important part of combining early stage researchers with advanced and scientific leaders. So there is also some small grants for early stage researchers to participate in it. So this has this focus of combination of young and experienced researchers. Science management is this third block of ESF activities. So European Science Foundation also serves some services, for example, to funding organizations. As I said, the European Science Foundation is consisting of many academies, research councils, and so on. And they also have nationally their own calls for proposals, and sometimes European Science Foundation researchers are asked to peer review their own calls, and so on. Also, ESF is coordinating ERANET, so this is European Commission projects. So, for example, ESF researchers are asked to cross-check if there is no overlapping between several calls for proposals between various disciplines, so there is no double funding and overlapping, and they basically assure synergy rather than and eliminate all overlaps. So this is, as I said, management. And also implementing European cooperation in science and technology. This is a specific European Commission project which Commission contracts to European Science Foundation. So these are mostly services which are provided by ESF. And now this is this important point about where we are in the European Science Foundation. At the moment, at the very moment, the big reform is coming. And actually, so far, there were 2 big institutions which coexisted, and even the membership overlapped. This was EuroHORCS, which stands for European Heads of Research Councils, and European Science Foundation. And these 2 institutions decided to merge, actually. But as always with merging, you don't know which one will be, whether it will be equal share, so whether one disappears, the other takes over, and so on. And actually we are at the stage that we don't know what will be the outcome, which makes most of the funding, unfortunately, a bit uncertain. and that's why some calls are on hold. So it's not a very fortunate moment for those who want to have a follow-up of their projects.
Yeah, excuse me, but can I say something here?
Sure.
But this will not happen until like 2015. It's
a gradual process,
yeah.
yes, that's true.
This will, I mean, the final decision will be, then it will work as before.
Yeah, that's why we have this workshop and all other workshops. Everything which was contracted so far will continue, of course, that we were assured about this. The workshops also will be the new calls for workshops, but maybe there will be some hold with this big financing, long-term projects, because it's not certain who will be actually dealing with this. But as Dilek said, so far everything goes business as usual. So now just a few words about our committees which we represent. Standing Committee for Social Sciences obviously has mission to promote social science research. This tries to help support in innovative research ideas and forward-looking ideas. But as you see, and this workshop is a good example, we try to combine with other committees. So it's also interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary research as well. Not only in pure social sciences. And your workshop is a very good example of this. We have currently, from all these measures which I discussed generally, social sciences have now 3 forward looks. And one is on aging, the other is on Central and Eastern European countries after transition. What next? What kind of research should be? So shall we forget about transition, it happened, and what is now, and the future of science in society. So you see the very much forward-looking broad topics. Exploratory workshops, we have currently 18, and your workshop is one of it, but they are also so much diversified. It's about from geopolitics to non-verbal intentions, so we are very, very broadly and oriented and open for very many topics from very broad definition of social sciences. And research networking programs, we have currently 2 launched in 2011. This is European Historical Population Sample Network, and the second is Rights to Green Future. And Eurocores, we have also currently 2. So this the biggest funding which goes to Eurocores. In social sciences field, it's cross-national and multi-level analysis of human values, institutions and behavior. And the second is higher education and social change. And strategic activities range again. It's from youth violence, indicators for child well-being, and so on. And I have a publication of Social Sciences Committee, which is on how social sciences contribute to general science. So this is example of outputs of this kind of strategic activities. And now I give the floor to Emmanuel and to Dilek to tell a few words about what's going on in their standing committees.
Is to initiate and coordinate the ESF activities in medical science. And it's trying to provide expert advices on issues of science policy. As it covers a very broad range of fields: neurology, immunology, public health, absolutely everything concerning medical research. Its goal is also to promote interactions between the biomedical scientific community and the clinical one, because they have some difficulty to speak between each other. because you don't hear me? Not so much. Well, it's not very important anyway. I had a slide. I don't know if you have it. Yes. This one. So what she said is that everything that's going on will going on until the end. The problem with the new ESF future is that we're not launching calls on very, very expensive networking or Eurocalls. But all we're doing is going to be going to the end. So at the time we have four looks going on. We have 3 science policy briefing, 3 position papers, because in EMRC we are doing many groups taking a new directive for, let's say, animal care, what was the last one, stem cells and so on very, very specific subjects. And of course we are having the exploratory workshop. Well, it's very, very important because it's the first step to go further on. And as you said, competition is quite hard. And this year, EMRC could fund 7 workshops. And of course, in the 7 there's yours. For the synergy, those research networking programs you were talking about are quite expensive. So currently there are 12 of them going on, and they will go on until the end. And for Eurocalls, with very expensive too, you have currently 4 of them running, and 1 is under preparation, so it's going to take place. And the research conference, which I know we'll speak at the end of the perspective, but I think the next step after the exploratory workshop, because it's not so many participants and it's very interdisciplinary, and it allows people to speak between themselves, and it supports early stage researchers and I would say seniors researchers, and I think that's very important. So there are, for the moment, 6 research conferences going on. This is what I can say about EMRC.
Within the ESF, for example, I am representing the Turkish Scientific, Foundation. But here we are representing the ESF. Then I have to say that this is very important, the Standing Committee for Humanities within the ESF, because the ESF is the only organization which really cares about the humanities. For example, there is the European Research Council, as you know. For example, that's the big difference between European Research Council and the ESF. ESF really made a lot of steps towards developing scientific approach, within the humanities. Then, what are the strategy for research infrastructure in the humanities is really quite significant for us. We try to develop, digital, humanities. This is something new, and we are still working on that. And changing publication cultures, because as you know, for example, in the natural sciences, the articles are very important. But humanities, not only articles, books are play an important role. Then we are trying to prove that in different, majors such as, history, for example. I am a historian. Always, articles are not the most important thing. Books are important. But what we are doing also, we are trying to adapt to modern times and, develop different changing, these publication cultures. Then we also have support for early career research, Humanities Spring, for example. This is related also to the support to summer schools. we are developing or we are initiating summer schools in different European countries. For example, Rome could be a very good candidate for this if you want to do it in the future. And we are also very much emphasizing interdisciplinary and trans-community collaboration. And this workshop, what you organize, is a very good example or model for the interdisciplinary, because we are here, 3 of us, and we, 3 Standing Committee for Humanities, for Social Sciences and for Medical Sciences, in fact, finance this workshop. Then what do we understand else? For example, landscape studies are quite important. Mapping interfaces, cognition, communication, information, science strategy, and of course which includes, for example, psychology, psychological sciences. Then what also we care a lot about developing European reference index for the humanities. This is, we are working very intensely on that. And we are giving support for particular humanities areas, such as Asian studies in the humanities. There's a report which is going on that. As you know, the role of China is quite important these days. And musicology and the cultural literacy in contemporary Europe. I think there's one more slide. Okay. Now, then they say these are similar things as the other ones. Now we have 3 in proposal development stage, including which is part of the forward looks, which is called MEDIA. Space Road and the Future Science in Society are currently running. This is personalized medicine and rescue. Then exploratory workshops, this is one of you, is that, and we have, 17 workshops funded by the in fact, Standing Committee for Humanities by 2011. We have research networking programs. This is a little bit, you can develop your exploratory workshop. The next step could be for you, transforming it into research networking program. And you can, of course, get more money. And, of course, this is like, it takes longer, time to organize that. And we have currently 7 running, 4 in publishing phase, and 2 launch, in fact, in 2011. And the Euro course are the most extensive one. We have currently 3 running and 1 under development. But I will advise that the second step will not be the Euro course, but the second step will be research networking programs. And I think this is the end of this is our, information if you want to get